Administration of Governor Obasanjo says it is investing huge resources in agriculture. In its 2024 budget, the government allocated 22.54 billion naira to agriculture, a significant increase from previous years. However, nationally between November 2023 and November 2024, data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that the average cost of food in Nigeria increased by 97%, and the nearly doubled increase in food prices over the years has significantly strained the budgets of houses, particularly for low and middle income earners who struggle with balancing between inflation and income, leaving food insecurity to become a growing concern across the country. Tonight, we beam a searchlight on Kaduna's Greek Revolution and the making of billionaire farmers with increased budgetary allocation in agriculture. How far have these yielded the desired results? How much can Kaduna State declare itself sufficient when it comes to food production? But before we get into that conversation tonight, let's share this report with you.
Land. Kaduna State plays a crucial role in Nigeria's food security, serving as a leading producer of crops like ginger, maize, soybeans, tomato and sorghum. This agricultural potential continues to attract investors to the state. A delegation from the Food and Agri Organization is in Kaduna to boost the tomato value chain by investing in processing equipment to minimize post-harvest losses and increase farmers' productivity.
In Ethiopia and Kenya, the average yield per hectare is about 15 to 20 tons. In Nigeria, including Kaduna, it's not more than 5. And of this 5, 45 to 60% is lost after harvest. So, Your Excellency, this TCP of about $400,000 is meant to address the issue of tomatoes. So we are going to pilot production enhancement in 3 clusters.
The Kaduna State government has allocated approximately 74 billion naira to agriculture in its 2025 budget, reinforcing its commitment to food security. The governor welcomes the FAO partnership, emphasizing that accelerating agricultural growth and transformation requires significant investment.
It is our hope that this new partnership will catalyze our rapid progression towards attaining and maintaining the coveted top spot as a major producer in Nigeria and West Africa. This partnership will improve the production capacity and income of our tomato farmers, reduce poverty, improve our economy, and enhance livelihoods.
At the signing ceremony for the Technical Cooperation Project, titled Smart Tomato Value Chain Enhancement Through Sustainable Practices for Livelihood Improvement in Kaduna State, FAO country representative highlighted that the agreement seeks to enhance production techniques, boost yields, and reduce post-harvest losses through improved storage.
From Abuja to Kaduna, it was a maze to see the vast expanded land that we can work on it. When I'm crossing the bridge, even in the small water that I see on my road, I see that we are producing something around. And that is a very good sign that we need to invest here. Because when you invest, you will get a strong return on investment. And FAO is ready to do that.
Lupe Asom, TVC News, Kaduna.
With that, I'm now being joined by Murtala Dabo. He's the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development. Good evening to you, Mr. Dabo. Thank you very much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Dabo, can you hear me? Good evening to you.
I can hear you very well. Good evening, viewers.
Right. So Kaduna State is a leading producer of maize, ginger and tomato in Nigeria, and a major producer of rice. Talk about soybeans. You know, some administrators would say, we have it, that's enough for us. Why invest more? And in an era where some governors embark on fancy projects like airports and flyovers and what they call legacy projects, have some reports of the government's level of commitment to the agricultural sector. So talk to us about this administration's revolution in sustainable farming and rural development.
Well, good evening, Jumoke.
Good evening to
you. Kaduna, we're really having a new dawn since the coming of Senator Obasanjo's government. Right from campaign period, he made commitment to support and jumpstart the rural economy, to support the rural economy, especially, Kaduna being an agrarian state. Remember that agriculture contributes up to 43% to the state's GDP. So he made commitments to support agriculture as one of the pillars of the sustained agenda of his government, which also aligns with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So since coming of Obasani's government, the commitment is real. Typically, the evidence is the year 2023, the budget to agriculture was barely 1.4 billion, 0.4% of the state's budget. By the year 2024, which was Governor Obasani's first budget that he prepared, agriculture got allocated 23 billion. That was over 1,400% increase. Imagine that. That was evident. And the support that we gained with the view to really being the first producers of maize, first producers of ginger, we're also leading in tomatoes. The support really is targeted as especially the smallholder farmers. So he said we should focus on two things to improve the yield of our farmers, especially the smallholder farmers. Maize, typically, the smallholder farmers have a yield of maybe 2 tons per hectare. That was why we now came to target the doubling effect, supporting the smallholder farmers with quality inputs, improved seedlings, improved seeds, intensive extension service so that agronomic practices will be improved, all in a bid to improve the yield. Our target is to see that we move them from the average 2 tons to 5 or 6 tons per hectare. And you can see from the budget, we gave massive support of those inputs. Mechanization is one of the key areas that will help us achieve the improved productivity. Improved extension service, mechanization, which is key. So that is why he started by buying micro-mechanization equipment like power tillers. We distributed massively to about 69,000 smallholder farmers in their cooperatives. The essence is to see that we mechanize. The era of hoe and cutlass is over because we want to really improve the productivity. With those micro-mechanization, land preparation has been eased, and they can now cultivate more land because we have enormous arable land available. An average smallholder farmers that does 3 hectares has the capacity to do 7 or even 8 or 10 with the mechanization.
All right.
So those are the things that we started with, giving them quality inputs, improving extension service, the mechanization. And now, we are now trying to focus on all year-round farming because for us to achieve food security, we cannot rely on rain-fed agriculture alone. We have about 11 irrigation schemes in the state. What do? We are now focusing on rehabilitating those schemes. Most of the dams are silted. So we want to desilt and expand the irrigable portion, the irrigation, the irrigated land area, so that we'll cultivate more. So all this support that we're giving the farmers is meant to really double the effect. You could see yesterday, it was a massive event where we supported the dry season farmers with lots of equipment. Apart from power tillers that we distributed, over 500, and then the irrigation is a key thing.
All right, Mr. Dabo, let me come in here. I'm sure these initiatives didn't start today, so let's take these steps one after another. I would like for you to expatiate on these agro-friendly policies and programs and how these policies have played a crucial role in shaping the dynamics of food prices in the state.
What did you say?
I'm sure these initiatives didn't start today, so I'd like for you to expatiate on these agro-friendly policies and programs and how these programs have played a crucial role in shaping the dynamics of food prices in Kaduna State.
Okay, yeah. You see, like last year, everybody knows the average cost of fertilizer. It's a key input for you to achieve improved yields. A bag of fertilizer was going for over 40,000. The governor came with a massive support to the farmers. We distributed over 500 trucks of fertilizer. We gave 2 bags to 120,000 smallholder farmers. We gave them agrochemicals. We gave them micro-mechanization equipment, knapsack sprayers. This input, we were trying to bring down the cost of input. That way, you realize that once their cost comes down, it is evident that prices of this food will be modest. And we had a bumper harvest. A lot of smallholder farmers that were hitherto doing a few bags, with the support which came timely, they had massive harvest. And now we're smiling. You can see that today maize is going for around 60,000. It got to up to over 100,000 towards the end of last farming season. So the support from government, it brings down the production cost, which is an incentive. It incentivizes them. And we're trying to see how we improve on that in the coming season. Because when you support the farmers, you bring down their economies of production. Once the production cost comes down, it is expected that prices will moderate. And we are the leaders in maize. Most of the millers, we have Olam, hybrid feeds, and all the animal feed companies. Kaduna State is the leading producer. So maize has been harvested massively, soybeans and the rest of them. So the government support through this initiative is helping to incentivize farmers to go back, and then by moderating the prices of the inputs, ultimately we'll have improved productivity and moderating the price at the end of the day.
So because the government is doing all it can to address food insecurity, does this clearly demonstrate a clear understanding of the complex situation on ground? Because if I'm to go by the data on the state's website, in Kaduna State, agriculture employs 42% of the residents and contributes 42.81% to the state's gross domestic product. And in the 2024 budget, about 7% was allocated to the agricultural sector. But in the 2025 budget, agriculture will receive 9.5%. That's an increase. So does this demonstrate a clear understanding of the complex matters on ground?
Truly, yes. You know, there is a lot of things that contribute to the increasing cost. Typically, the farmers will do so well, but moving the goods, moving their produce from the farm to the market is another huge challenge. That is why the major pillars Governor Obasanjo came with at the very beginning was to build these rural roads that will link farms to the market. And that way, it will ease the movement. It will drastically reduce post-harvest losses. A lot of them used to have good harvests like tomatoes and the rest of them, but before they move it to the market, a lot of challenges, no access roads, rivers. So along the line, they lose sometimes 15, even up to 20% of the produce. So with these linkages, it eases their movement. It makes it a lot easier. It brings down the cost, which is why in the 2025 budget, the governor allocated 74 billion, which is a landmark achievement. Malabo Declaration was a target of 10% allocation of budget to agri sector. Senator Obasanjo is the first to achieve that, because 74.5 billion is about 10-point-something% of our 2025 budget. So I congratulate him for achieving that feat.
All right.
And the commitment is imminent. We want to invest in mechanization. we are buying a lot of tractors. You could see yesterday, we have bought 500 tractors. And what we are doing is to send them all across the farming communities. Farmers will have access to these mechanized equipment. It will ease land preparation. The governor has intention of, especially for the smallholder farmers, to subsidize the cost, because we are using private sector for sustainability to run these tractors. But farmers will have access to it at a subsidized rate. This will bring down the cost of the land preparation, and it will hugely affect prices at the end of the day. For the dry season, as I was talking about, foiling the water pumps is a huge challenge now, which is why the governor has invested heavily in solar-powered water pumps. Over 5,000, about 10,000 were purchased. Now we are beginning to distribute from yesterday's launch. This will ease the pain to our dry season farmers, because while they can irrigate with ease, they don't have to have the worry of buying fuel after getting the machine to be pumping the water to irrigate their farms. So this is something that is a massive support that has come.
So, Mr. Dabo, are these initiatives a step to achieving the return or get back to the farm policy?
Sure. That is the intention. All right. And one thing that I will also tell you is that we're hitting both crop production and livestock. Kaduna is a livestock hub. We have huge investments where all our headers, the governor, we know the crisis between farmers and headers. We need to have harmony. So we have created sedentary communities, clusters of communities in clusters where we are building solar-powered boreholes, grazing, pasture fields where very nutritious pasture is being grown, water for the headers, and even drinking trough for the livestock. You will be amazed when you see in a village cluster the livestock coming to drink from a borehole, as against the stagnant waters they used to strive going through streams in the bush to drink. And this has helped in bringing peace, because they don't have to be roaming about, crossing into farmers' farms to cause trouble. They now have pasture fields as demonstration. All right. It's meant to show ranching at a micro scale. We have about 19 sedentary communities that we have built, and we have provided them with fodder choppers, residue crushers, and even a lot of supplements for the livestock. This is to help improve the yield, even the milk that they produce. Then they have tricycles in clusters where they will aggregate the milk for the processing companies like Ala, like Milkopa. So these are the good things happening. Both the headers and the farmers, everybody is happy. Everybody is benefiting.
Then, Mr. Dabo.
You saw it yesterday.
So if I get you clearly, this initiative promotes a return to traditional farming methods while integrating modern agricultural techniques, and also to ensure that farmers can produce more efficiently and sustainably. You know, empowerment of farmers is crucial to achieving this target, and I'm happy you've addressed that. But because we're basically talking about food security and what Kaduna State is doing to provide food for its citizens and residents, but at the national level, Nigeria's reliance on imported food items has worsened the problem. I mean, you look at what the National Bureau of Statistics is saying. But I want you to talk to us about grape farming and the kind of attention it is getting from the state government.
Another exciting thing is the grapes. You know, I visited the farm cluster for the grapes about 2 weeks ago. I melted. It's a huge success. You see it fresh. So we're supporting them. They have issue of water supply, availability of water. We are engaging them. We are going to provide all their needs. And as it is now, we are doing 85% of what comes locally. And they can't meet the demand. People come from everywhere. As against us importing these fresh fruits, we have the capacity to really scale up this production. They have 9 different species. You'll be amazed when you see it live. So it is something that is quite exciting, and we're going to support them. Even at the local government level, the local government chairman is engaging them. The governor has had a meeting with them, and they are one of our new areas of focus. We want to see how we really scale up to even put it out of the state, to be grown all over. They are fantastic. You need to see it. So all this will help preserve the scarce foreign exchange. For us to be importing food items is not sustainable. We have a huge population. So that is why, as a state, I will tell you. I see. We are leading massively in maize. We have the large-scale farmers.
And interestingly also, Mr. Dabo, interestingly also, a lot of persons didn't know that grapes are actually being cultivated in Nigeria, and in Kaduna State to be specific. So if what you're saying is that if all things work according to plan, Kaduna State is set to become a hub for grape farming in the country. Is that it?
I can tell you it is already a hub. If you know the visits, we just shared a little video of one of the major farms. People are coming from all over. And the extension, we want to see that we spread it. It is a hub already, I tell you. It is very, very exciting. I was so surprised with the level of development. It is quite exciting for me. It was quite pleasing. And so this is something that we really want to scale up. Neighboring states are coming. We want to see how we really spread it across. And on the grains, you know, maize, I tell you, if you go to local governments like Birnungwali, as insecure as it sounded, the farmers is a very arable land, and the governor, with his deliberate plan to bring peace, the Kaduna model, you can see that now our farmers are freely going to from Kaduna to Birnungwali is now open. All the major markets are open. From the grains market in Birnungwali, on weekly basis, they move not less than in hundreds of trailers. One farmer alone did over 15,000 bags of maize. It's unprecedented. So in Birnungwali, we have close to 20 farmers that are doing 10,000 bags and above. That was why I saw in your program, Babajide was saying when he was engaging, he was dining with, hanging out with billionaire farmers. It's real, I tell you. And for those that are doing 5,000 and above, it's about 50, is intense. For those doing 1,000 bags and above, is in hundreds. That is one local government alone. And when we say 1,000 bags of maize, just take it for 60,000. That is 60 million. So there are multi-millionaires in our rural local governments. If you go to Lere, you won't believe it. Those that are doing more than 10,000 bags, they are up to 30.
Interesting.
Up to 30. For those doing 5,000 and above, intense. 1,000 bags, even in one village, you can get 10, 20. That's why you see the prosperity. I tell you, when they talk of poverty in Kaduna State, I say a capital no. It's only urban poverty. When you go to the rural areas now that has harvest, you won't believe the level of prosperity there.
So it looks like maize is sorted in Kaduna State. Let's go back to grape farming, because I love grapes and I understand the challenges that come with grape farming. You know, many traditional grape varieties are not well suited to Nigeria's tropical conditions. You talked about water supply earlier, but those tropical conditions which could or can lead to low yields and poor fruit quality, how does government intend to tackle this?
Their challenge is mostly provision, having steady water for irrigating their farms. And I tell you, we're addressing that. It's not complicated at all. The condition of that cluster is very, very conducive for the grapes. I say if you enter that farm, Jumoke, you will melt. It's so real, fresh. If I had known, I would have come with a bunch to display here. Honestly,
you know, I asked because
so fresh.
We all know that. I asked that question because we all know that grape cultivation is a specialized field that requires specific knowledge and skills, and many Nigerian farmers may lack that necessary expertise in grape farming practices. You talk about vineyard establishment to pruning, harvesting. Is there a committed effort to training these farmers?
Sure, there is. In fact, what we are planning right now, because they are actually highly skilled, what we intend to do is to see how we scale it up to other parts of the state. We want to be organizing training programs where we bring young farmers especially. We are talking to see how we incentivize the youth. We have a lot of young graduates that are roaming the streets looking for a job when there is a lot of money in agriculture. The grapes farming is so, I mean, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. So once they get trained, it's something that will be so enticing. It's fresh, you understand? And I tell you, we intend to organize trainings for our youth. And it's something that we want to scale up. And, you know, they have the skills, I tell you. And the condition around Kudan local government is very, very conducive. Until you visit these farms, you won't believe it.
All right. And Rural Development is my guest tonight as we examine Kaduna's Greek Revolution and the making of billionaire farmers. Mr. Dabo, thank you very much for staying with us in the program. Let's continue this conversation. You know, most times the issue with agriculture in Nigeria is improved crop yields. So how can the farmers be assisted to get more yields for crops?
Okay. In this, I will tell you, I will have to appreciate the partners that come to the agri space. Development partners, a lot of them come into Kaduna because they know being an agrarian state and our farmers are very, very easy. They are very fast learners. So support is bringing improved seeds, quality seeds that gives you improved yields. It's something that is really fantastic. Operators like Agra, OCP, many of them, name it. The research institutes is something that we really greatly appreciate because their support is really coming handy. Harvest Plus, you know, we have, since we have dwindling extension numbers, that is private extension service that Harvest Plus, they are supporting it, and through them, we are having the access spread of improved varieties across our farming communities. And that is leading to improved productivity, improved yields. Because there is great improvement now along all those spaces. Now you see our farmers getting 6-7 tons on a good day for those that are buying the quality seeds. And the farmers are always receptive. When they see that their yields are doubling, they are encouraged to go for those improved seeds, because in some locations they farm grains, not seeds. So that increased awareness is spreading and the yields is improving greatly. We really appreciate the support from all the development partners in the agri space. And I tell you one thing, the big farmers, we are talking of the billionaire farmers, I really want to talk about this.
Okay.
If you go to some of these local governments, Lere, Ikara, Soba, Bilnungwari, Giwa, you will not believe it. A typical demonstration of the prosperity is, I will tell you, you know, in the north, we are very religious, I will tell you. For the Muslims, pilgrimage is a measure. Once you have money, the first thing you want to do is to go for Hajj. That is the general outcry that is so expensive now, you know, with the devaluation of Naira. A seat for pilgrimage is going for 8.5 to even 9 million. So people tend to complain that, it's not affordable. I'll give you a shocking news. Just today, I was checking. Kaduna North local government, for instance, in the state, is the urban local government, where all the GRAs, all the multi-millionaires, all the corporates are located between Kaduna North and Kaduna South, which is the metropolitan city. As of today, only 60 people have paid for their Hajj seats. But Ikara local government, as of this morning, as of morning today, about 288 pilgrims have paid fully, 100%. That's 2.5 billion. Soba local government, they have 345 pilgrims as of this morning. That is over 3 billion naira paid cash. Because they have the money, they make the money. When someone does 5,000 bags.
So Mr. Dabo, what's the impact of this on the local economy?
It is there. It's revolving. When you go there, you see they are spending it around. Now the farmers are even going into real estate. You will be shocked that so many houses in the urban areas, you go to Kaduna GRA, you see a house being rented out. The owner is a farmer in the village. He's there doing his agri practice in the village while he owns houses in town. This is the prosperity that we're talking about. If you go to each of our local governments have crop of comparative advantage. If you go to southern Kaduna, is ginger hub. You know, we are not only number one in producing ginger. Nigerian ginger is the best in the world. It's the most pungent, the most sought after ginger. Of course, we suffered the blight, and it's going to go over by this coming season. By the grace of God, we'll have good seeds to plant. Because of the scarcity now, split dried ginger is going for up to 700,000. So they are making millions. So by the time we are working effort to support them to recover. So I'm saying there is prosperity in agriculture, and calling on the young people, the youth, is the way to go. That is where to go to. Go to the farm. You make money.
All right, but in an era where, Mr. Dabo, in an era where technology plays a pivotal role in agriculture, as the administration of Governor Basani looked into this direction, as it embraced innovation as a means to enhance productivity, I'm talking about promoting the use of digital platforms for information dissemination, market access, and also financial services.
We are aggressive on that, I can tell you. Check with the partners that are operating in the agri space. Digital e-extension is what is the in thing that we do. The private extension workers are electronic, pure. They spread the agronomic practices using the tablets in the village. They display it. And now extension has been made easy. That is the ease of technology. Climate smart agriculture. These are the things. And I will tell you one thing the governor is doing. We are really working to desilt, rehabilitate our dams. When we desilt, it will help the environment. Most of the flooding that occurs will be over, because we will improve the carrying capacity of our rivers. That way, we harvest the rainwaters, and then during the dry season, we'll have the water that will last all the way through. And we are building, they are now going into greenhouses. So this is the thing. When there is money in anything, you can put your money. You invest because the return is massive, it's fantastic. How many businesses will you do that you will have a 30% return? But when you go into agriculture, I tell you, I assure you, you will make a lot more.
All right.
Because when that farmer that had 1,000 bags of maize, having 60 million, if you check the records, it's possible he has not spent more than 20 million or 25, 30. So when you do 100% return, that's a fantastic business.
All right, but Mr. Dabo, still talking about challenges.
During this dry season, I tell you.
We've talked about some challenges which you've said the government is working on them, but there are more daring challenges. There are issues of climate change, inadequate infrastructure, but most importantly, access to credit continue to pose threats to the agricultural sector. Even at the national level, there have been several interventions, but these get to the original farmers. And that's why, I mean, by what it looks like, we can't see or feel the results. For a state that has prioritized agriculture, access to credit facility, is this something available to these farmers?
Yes, we are really working on that aggressively because no matter, especially for the smallholder farmers, access to finance is always a challenge. But we are partnering with Star Agri, which is an agro-logistics company from India. They have taken over our warehouses where they are improving on them. With that, they are working to bring in finance to our, especially smallholder farmers. We are working on warehouse receipt system in Kaduna State. I can tell you this. On harvest, the warehouses are there for the farmers to bring their produce. Because at the peak, most of the middlemen buy it off them. After a few months, they come and make grand profit. So with the warehousing facility now, they have access to these warehouses where they can come and keep them. They are not under any pressure to sell. If they have need, because the warehouse receipt system is a situation where you bring your produce, you are given receipt. With that receipt, they can discount it in a bank.
All right.
Someone has 2,000 bags in the warehouse. That is, you're talking of 60 million times 2, over 100 million. He can use that receipt to access 30 or 40 million naira from any bank.
All right, Mr. Dabo, let's stay on that. So and because of time, let's stay on that because in the past, one of the challenges faced by smallholder farmers in Kaduna State is the allegation that past administration encouraged companies and wealthy individuals to invest in the abundant agricultural potentials of the state. As a matter of fact, the allegation was that land grabbing by rich farmers was threatening smallholders. Peasant farmers had to vacate farming activities as they were not able to retain farmlands due to, attractive prices being offered by rich men or lands. And as a result of that, most of them are now being subjected to ordinary workers in the farmlands owned by the rich. So if we're saying we're encouraging people to go back to farming, how is this administration addressing this allegation or perception by the ordinary people?
Well, I will tell you this. That allegation is there, but the truth is that we are in the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Environment. We have the forest reserves. It's owned by the government. And the grazing reserves. We have some farmlands owned by government. We have farmers even right now writing to lease the farmlands. And we are giving them at a modest rate. They do because they get handsome returns. They pay without hitch. And for some of the investors, there are good examples. Tomato Juice, for instance. She has the land. She's doing good quality tomato production. When I heard they're talking of 5 tons per hectare or 7 tons per hectare, caught me anywhere. 3 weeks ago, we visited. A woman had a yield of over 70 tons per hectare in tomato juice. This is the beauty of partnering with the private sector. They come with the resources, with the knowledge and skills. It's so organized. I have not seen any business that is gender inclusive like tomato juice. Over 60% are women. You see hundreds of women in the farmland, and they're millionaires for tomatoes. High yield because they have access to quality inputs, quality extension workers, infrastructure is there. It is the farmers that are now begging the government to increase the land so that more farmers will come.
Mr. Dabo, because of time, let's quickly talk about safety. Let's talk about safety and security. What's the government doing to ensure farmers feel safe to go back to their farms?
Well, this is another area that we have to give kudos to Governor Obasani. I told you, Giwa, Birnungwali, and substantial part of Chukung and Igebi were inaccessible in the past.
All right.
But in the last few months, the Kaduna model is bringing a lot of wonders. Improved security, now people travel without any hitch. And that is what we want. For the farmers, they don't want to care. All they want is to have access to their farmlands. So with the improved security we are having in those areas, which is also spreading to other parts of the state, we are, as a ministry, aggressive. The governor is asking us to clear more lands, because we have the fertile land. Birnungwari are going to go and do land clearing, and Giwa, so that we'll have enough to go around. Even commercial farmers can come and invest in Kaduna.
All right, Mr. Dabo. Sadly, we have to go, but I'm sure we'll have this or continue this conversation some other time. I've been speaking with Murtala Dabo, Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development. And we hope that the ordinary farmers in Kaduna State continue to enjoy these interventions for the benefit of the state and the nation at large. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At least we are contributing towards food security and freedom for our effects.
All right,
Once
thank you very much.
Once we do import substitution, it is going to help the economy of the nation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dabo.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight.